Hey, what's up? My name is Spencer with Calhoun Homestead. So today I'd like to share with you guys about 10 tips on how to start a homestead. This is technically our second homestead here in Polk County, Tennessee. Now we're going to go strip some bark off of cedar logs because we have a barn to build. Our very first like full-on barn. Oh gosh. Yeah. This one doesn't want to come off very easy. So the first tip that you probably want to consider when starting your homestead, at least this was big for me, was to have uh, electric fencing like we got here. Because I had learned permaculture before we got into homesteading. So I'd learned gardening, and then I found permaculture, took a 10-week course, got certified in permaculture design, and then we wanted to start homesteading. And I was like, oh yeah, part of permaculture and homesteading is create the disturbance with the animal in the electric fence and then move them. Tip number two is to build, if you need it, mobile shelters or a mobile shelter of some sort for whichever critter you find that you want to start with. All right, tip number three might get a little mental. I'm a little bit stubborn and sometimes don't go buy the tools that may be necessary for certain jobs on the homestead. Hello, Ollie. Hey, buddy. Hey. Yeah. So sometimes, if you're the type of person like me, sometimes you come with certain things, especially if you're like a handy person or you've got tools or whatever. You come with certain things to when you're starting your homestead, and so that item will work for what you need to do. It's not the best item, but oh boy, this one's a bit crooked. I think I let this one sit out in the sun too long in the wrong direction. You're okay. You gotta get this thing over you. Ooh, this one might be too heavy. So this leads into tip number four, which is patience. If you're gonna choose this lifestyle, especially nowadays, honestly, I think for a lot of people, if you haven't done it, a lot of things are gonna get frustrating. They're gonna be hard. Tip number five is probably have a podcast or music or something that you can listen to or somebody else you can talk to. If you got somebody helping you or that can, amazing. If you're out here by yourself like me, most of the time doing all this stuff on your own by yourself, podcasts, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of smart people talk. I don't know why. I just like listen to science and listen to Huberman and smart people because you get out here talking to yourself. Feels weird. I normally have a podcast on instead of doing these videos. Tip number six is to get a companion, like a doggy. Get a farm doggy. Especially if you have the time, get a farm dog that you can train to be your general farm dog that kind of hangs around your house, but also hangs out with you, goes wherever you go. They're just all around great companions, especially if you're out here doing this by yourself. Tip number six is to learn permaculture and go around and observe your property. Get to know how water runs when it rains. Get to know where the sun hits at different times. Get to know where the shade is. at different times of year, get to know which way the cold air comes in, get to know which way the fires might come in if in the dry season, get to know, oh my gosh, all the different plants that you may have. Get to know them doesn't mean you have to memorize the names and all the uses or whatever. I don't ever remember hardly any of that stuff. Get to know them though. Get to know their temperaments and how they grow, and get to know how they can be utilized with your property and what you want to accomplish. Tip number 7 is basically don't be afraid to have ugly stuff, to have it look disheveled, not look so great, things just laying around, totes laying around. It's all good if you're just starting, or even if you've been doing it for a minute. But how to start as you gain materials, especially if you're going the reuse route like we have, or if you're doing it like temporary if it's newer and it ends up not looking so great, 3 to 6 months in, that's okay. It's still useful, and it can still be useful even when you get newer stuff. You can take it down and repurpose it. Tip number 8 is to probably start with a few things, unlike us, where we started with wanting to do a lot of things. I mean, I've seen people move so fast with starting a homestead, and they get 5, 6 different things going all at once in the first like 3 to 6 months, and it just ends up looking like a chicken with their head cut off running around doing all these different things. And to be honest, I almost got to that point where in our first couple of years of doing it, we had all the different things going, and I was like, oh boy. And so I took a step back. And now, being in it for a while, like a lot of the OGs said back then in the YouTube videos, start slow, start small, start with one thing. Yes and no. I'm not the type of person that wanted to do that necessarily. I wanted to jump in. I wanted to do several things. I'm glad that I only did so many things though, because there was only so much running around that I could actually do that felt good for me. Even though it was all cool stuff homesteading related. Don't try to do too much. Tip number 9 is a little bit personally uh, favored by me. Get heritage breed pigs like this guy here, American Guinea Hog. Look, he's laying down. He wants me to pet him. They're so sweet. They do an amazing job in this electric movable fence and get lots of forage. So he's not meat, but his babies, when they're turning into big enough to get meat, they're getting all this forage. So it's one of the most nutrient dense pork that I've ever had. Like, and there's none of that junk in it that you get at the store. But anyway, this is one of my personal favorites. If you own a homestead or you're starting a small homestead, at some point, pretty soon after you start, you got to have a heritage pig. You got to have one of these guys, especially not the cooney or whatever you call them, just because people like them. They're spotted and they do the same temperament things that this does, but this is just these are one of the most hardy, resilient pigs that you could even find in the entire United States. Like they just do so well on their own out here and eat a lot of the things that grow out here, which they can get big on that. It takes a little longer, but whatever. They're amazing. Get them. Oh, and real quick, if there's anything else that you guys want to know from me, ask questions about anything that we do on the homestead, feel free to comment. And I hope you found value in this. And if you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel and check out what else we got going on as we slowly but surely build out this homestead.